Alright, it's a nice Saturday morning. We got a project for the Corvette. We are going to install East Coast Supercharging's transmission rear end brace. If you're familiar with these, those hoops there wrap around the diff. These hook to the front of the transmission. And then these rods tie it all together to strengthen it. And you end up with a setup like this. Now, ECS has some really nice instructions. You download and print them out yourself. They supply all the hardware, everything you need to put this in. And the deal is, if you're not familiar with why this is a kind of an important brace, is that the way the Corvettes are set up, you have the differential mounted to the transmission, transmission mounted to the torque tube, on up to the engine. Well, as your wheels spin like this, the differential wants to pivot like this, which moves the transmission up, which moves everything up all the way to the engine. So everything tries to torque upward as your wheels are spinning forward. Now, you have a big section here that fastens onto the torque tube. Torque tube's purpose-built for this. Then it hooks to the engine through a large bell housing, but your weak spot is right here where the diff hooks to the transmission. There's only 4 fasteners that hook those two together, and it's a much smaller area than the rest of it. So what happens is, since these housings are cast aluminum, you get enough torque on that, it ends up breaking the differential case, which in turn lets that move, which snaps off your output shaft to your transmission. So not only have you got to get a new diff, you've got to rebuild your transmission because the output shaft requires a full teardown. Now, I've made it a lot of miles on my car without blowing this up, but I've also rebuilt the transmission. I put new clutches in the diff, did all the work on the diff. There's another video on Wheelhop that I've got where I added that transmission mount that gives it more support side to side. And I pretty much eliminated Wheelhop. Now, I'm going to call it Wheelhop. It's drive line jumping around due to the traction conditions you run into. It's like if you've got nice smooth pavement, everything will be smooth. You hit some rough stuff, it may start grabbing. And it's that grabbing that really hammers on the entire drivetrain, and that's what can break stuff. And while I'm not running a whole lot of power, I'm not running super sticky tires like a drag guy, you can still break these on a stock one. And that's what made me want to do this modification. So I was watching, as you can see from my intro, I like to cut donuts, slide it sideways. I slide it sideways all the time when I'm pulling out from intersections on. Never had a problem, but there was a guy when I was first looking at Corvettes, I think his name was Jimbo, something like that. He had a C4 and a C5. And he had done a video where he had just pulled out from an intersection, slid it sideways, and he got a little wheel hop and he blew the diff up. I mean, just trashed everything in the back, and he wasn't doing anything that I don't do like on a daily basis. So I figured this, just good insurance. So the Vette's up in the air. First thing I'm going to do, now that it's up in the air, is I'm going to drop the cradle. I don't know that you might be able to fiddle around and get the stuff mounted on the diff, but I'm just not going to mess with it. It's not that hard to drop the cradle. You get that out of the way, then you have access to all the bolts you need to put in. You can torque them properly. It'll just make things in the long run a lot easier. So I'm going to drop the diff. I'm not going to video that. I've got lots of videos with pulling the differentials out. So if you need help with that, just look one of them up. That whole series on rebuilding the engine, I pulled the back end out. Same thing with when I redid the clutches in the diff. So those videos are out there on my channel. Look at them if you need help. So right now I'm going to drop that cradle out and we'll get busy installing this brace. All right, the cradle is out. We've got full access to the differential now. And I was mistaken. There's 5 bolts holding the differential on. I forgot about one down under here. So you got one on each side, 2 on the top, and then the one down here at the bottom. But it's still, you can see it's not a very big connection between this and the transmission. The first step on this is we need to take out all of the factory bolts
that hold this cover on because they are too short. There are longer 10.9 grade metric bolts in the kit. It also said that some covers have a casting that sticks out, a little square casting up here at the top and the bottom. You need to be able to bolt this new piece flat on the side. So the instructions said just to cut those little castings off and smooth everything out, but I don't have them, so I don't have to do that step. So I'll get these bolts out, we'll get the brace up there and get the new bolts in. So far it's a piece of cake. Everything fit just perfect. Took the old bolts out, slipped that up on there, put the new bolts in, torque them to 25 foot-pounds. A cross pattern, of course. Now we'll move over to the other side. Okay, the passenger side, same deal. Except you have a welded spacer there. That aims toward the inside of the car. And you leave this one stock bolt in. It goes in that gap there. But take the rest out, bolt this up, torque 25 foot-pounds. Okay, this side fit perfectly just like the other one. The only issue here, and it's not an issue, is that you're kind of close up here at top. And I've got the factory titanium exhaust, but doesn't look like it's going to, it doesn't look like it's going to contact. Especially since I've got the HPI mount. The differential's not going to be moving around. The exhaust's not going to be moving around that much. But it is kind of a tight fit along there. I suppose if you've got a factory rubber transmission mount, you might get enough movement to make some contact. And if you got aftermarket exhaust, it may not be an issue at all. With the factory titanium, it was a little close, but I think it'll be fine. Now we can move on to the front mounts that go on the transmission. Okay, this little bracket here goes on the top of the transmission, where it hooks to the torque tube. And this is probably the most difficult one because these two bolts, this one and this one, are the top two bolts up there. So you got to reach in. Can't really see them, got to feel around. And then this one is the next one down on the passenger side. So I've got the three bolts out. We'll get this up in there, see if we can get the new ones in. If you have your exhaust off, it will be a lot easier, but I try not to take the exhaust off. And I think I'm going to be able to get it in there without it. Yeah, that was a bit of a pain. You can see the bolt head, the shiny new bolt head up in there. I was able to get it in. Was able to use extensions and get it torqued. Those three bolts go to 45 foot-pounds. So everything's in up top. Now we've got two brackets to put down here on the bottom. Okay, the two bottom brackets couldn't be much easier. Just take out the two bolts there, two bolts on the other side, put the brackets in, torque them to 45 foot-pounds. Easy money. Now, start putting the rods in. All right, preparation for the rod ends. You've got the joints down here. Some of them, half of them are left hand, half of them are right hand thread. You have the actual rods. Long ones go on top, short ones on the bottom. The knurled ends are the left-handed threads, so we put the jam nuts up against the swivel. We'll put all of these onto the rods, run them all the way in, and then we'll be ready to put them on the car. Okay, the rod ends are all installed. Don't forget to put anti-seize on the threads. Now we're ready to head under the car. Okay, just like pictured there, you won't be able to see this on the car, but we're going to mount those rods just like that. The two bolts like that because those upper mounts are threaded. And we'll put the knurled end toward the rear of the car. Okay, back to this diagram again since we can't see up on the top of the transmission in the car. One thing I did different is they had to screw that all together and then we go in and we're supposed to put this bolt in here. Well, those bolts are fine thread and you're working on top of the transmission. It was a little difficult getting in there. So what I ended up doing was unscrewing the rod off of it again, putting the little joint up in there, screwing it down, which without the rod flopping around was a lot easier. Then it's pretty easy to screw the rod back onto the joint. So if you're doing this in the car, I would suggest doing it that way. Now we're ready to hook the rods up to the differential mount. Okay, on this, the bolt goes through from the outside on the front hole, and then we'll put the rod end on the back side. So what we need to do is hang onto this rod end, screw this tube, lengthen it out to where it'll slide on that bolt on the inside, and then we can put the nut on it, tighten it down. Okay, lower control arms are hooked up. Notice on these back ones, this one has the spacer, so your bolt's a little bit longer on that one. And notice on the driver's side that the bolt faces out. All the rest of them face in, and the rod end goes on the inside toward the diff. This is the only one that the bolt faces out and goes on the outside edge. So now there's one more rod, a cross brace on the top of the diff, and then we can adjust the rods, tighten everything up. Now that top bar right there might have been a little easier to put in earlier before you cinched everything down. If you've got this transmission out of the car, then it'd be fine to put this in last, but a little difficult to get in there. Okay, to tension the rods, looking from the back of the car, you want to turn the rod clockwise until it snugs up. And the way the joints are set in there, turning it clockwise will shorten the rod and pull the transmission and the differential together. So you snug that up. You've got these holes in the rod, and it said to use a punch or something. I'm using a little Torx key, because you can't really get a punch when you're working under the car like this, but you want to turn that another half turn. So keep track of where the holes are. Another half turn, and that pulls that together. Do that to all 4 rods, then we'll go back and tighten all 8 lock nuts. Here's 2 little helpful hints. The instructions are really good on this, but they are designed for installing this with the transmission and everything out from under the car. So when you go to tensioning the rods, see how I've got the bottom ones disconnected? I had everything tensioned and was going to tighten the top nuts on the rods, and with the bars up here, you just lost all your clearance to get your arm up in there. So I took those back down, and it's pretty tight fit up there. So if you don't have some stubby wrenches, get your crappiest 9/16 and cut it off, and then you can go in there and tighten those nuts, no problem. And then just throw this in your Corvette only toolbox, and it'll be there for next time. Now, you do have a Corvette only toolbox, right? I thought everybody did. All right, top ones are tightened. We'll put these back ones back on. We'll tension them and tighten the lock nuts, and we should be done. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is the instructions from ECS say to tighten all 4 rods, which makes sense. It squeezes everything together. But I've seen videos, and I thought the video was from ECS, and it said to tighten the top rods, because when the whole transmission and everything tries to lift up under acceleration, the top will be under extension and the bottom's rods will be under more compression. So the video I saw said to tighten the top ones to where it was squeezing, and then to take the bottom ones and tighten them to where they're extending. Now, I don't know if ECS changed their mind at some point, but the actual ECS instructions that I downloaded said to tighten all 4 of them in compression. So that's what we're doing. Okay, final view. Everything's installed. You see the linkages there. Everything went back in good. Want to give a big shout out to East Coast Supercharging for putting together an excellent kit to beef up these C5s. Keep up the good work, guys. If I ever do end up putting a power adder on her, I'll be giving you a call. But thanks for putting the kit together. It worked great. All right, that's all for the install. There shouldn't be any, you shouldn't notice any difference to having this on there, because it shouldn't cause any vibrations, anything like that. It's just to brace it up. So there's really no
testing it and see how I like it. It's just there to try to prevent possible damage. This is not even a go fast modification. This is a don't break your toy while you go fast. One thing I didn't take off and put back on because I don't have it anymore is that little dingle ball weight that goes on the side. If you're still running out, it said you needed to take it off. Just put it back on when you're done. Other than that, I've just got to button everything back up, put the cradle back in. At this point, I'm like at 4 hours of work time, which I haven't been hitting it very hard, and there's stuff that would have been easier, like I pointed out in the video, if you did it this way as opposed to that way. So that'll help somebody. You can probably do it a little faster. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.